Forget the snow and scenery, Alaska may be the most powerful square on the US chessboard. While most Americans overlook it, this icy expanse holds the front line against Russian expansion, surveillance, and Arctic ambition. With global temperatures rising and tensions escalating, Alaska isn't just cold, it's critical. And it might be the only thing standing between the United States and a strategic blind spot at the top of the world. Let's start with the basics. Alaska is the only US state that borders Russia. The distance? A mere 55 miles across the Bering Strait. And that narrow gap represents more than geography. It's a geopolitical pressure point that has only grown more important in the 21st century. During the Cold War, Alaska was loaded with early warning systems, nuclear missile silos, and air defense stations. The fear wasn't just theoretical. Soviet bombers could reach North America from over the Arctic, and Alaska was the first line of defense. Fast forward to today, and many of those military installations are still fully operational, but now with even more advanced technology. In fact, Alaska is home to the North Warning System, a sophisticated chain of radar stations that stretches across the Arctic. These radars are designed to detect incoming aircraft and missiles, giving the US precious minutes to respond to any aerial threat. In an age where hypersonic missiles can travel faster than Mach 5, every second counts. And it's not just radar. Alaska houses a key node of the US Ground-Based Midcourse Defense System, or GMD. This missile defense network includes interceptor missiles stationed at Fort Greely, which are designed to shoot down intercontinental ballistic missiles in space, a last line of defense against nuclear attack. What do you think? Should the US expand its military capabilities in Alaska to counter growing Russian aggression? Drop your opinion in the comments. We want to hear your take. But why now? Why does Alaska matter more today than it did a few decades ago? 2 words: the Arctic. Thanks to climate change, the Arctic is melting. Sea ice is disappearing, opening up new shipping routes and access to natural resources once thought unreachable. That includes oil, gas, and rare minerals. Suddenly, the Arctic isn't just a frozen wasteland. It's a new frontier for economic competition and territorial claims. Russia knows this. It has the longest Arctic coastline of any nation and has aggressively militarized the region. Today, Russia operates over 50 icebreakers, including several nuclear-powered ones, and has built dozens of new Arctic military bases in the past decade. It has installed radar systems, airfields, and anti-aircraft systems across its northern frontier. And where does the US respond from? Alaska. Anchorage, Fairbanks, and Eielson Air Force Base serve as hubs for Arctic operations. In fact, Eielson is home to the F-35 fighter jet fleet specifically tasked with Arctic readiness. These aircraft train in polar conditions, conduct surveillance flights, and maintain readiness in case tensions escalate. The Bering Strait, that narrow gap between Alaska and Russia, is now seen as a potential choke point for naval operations. Control of this passage means influence over shipping, surveillance, and strategic deterrence. From Alaska, the US can also monitor Russia's Northern Fleet, the most powerful component of the Russian Navy, headquartered near Murmansk. Satellite feeds, aircraft patrols, and undersea listening stations in the region all feed into a broader strategy. Keep an eye on Russia before anything happens. And it's not just about what's above the surface. Alaska is critical to undersea cable monitoring and anti-submarine operations. As Russia deploys more advanced submarines in the Arctic, US bases in Alaska and surrounding waters serve as key locations to track movement and maintain balance under the ice. There's also the question of China. Yes, China isn't even near the Arctic, but it calls itself a near-Arctic state and has invested billions into research stations, shipping lanes, and even military cooperation with Russia in the region. That makes the Arctic a three-way chess match. And Alaska is America's queen on the board. Let's zoom out. Alaska represents more than military installations and icy maps. It's a testing ground for geopolitical innovation. It's where the US military trains to operate in extreme cold, where drones are tested for polar missions, and where new surveillance technologies are quietly rolled out. It's a forward operating base not just in wartime, but in peace, projecting strength across the Arctic. Alaska also connects to NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, a binational organization between the US and Canada. NORAD's early warning systems rely on Alaska to provide detection and tracking data. In the event of a hostile missile launch, the call doesn't just go to Washington, it goes through Alaska. What happens if Alaska is underfunded, neglected, or stripped of its assets? The US would lose its Arctic edge. Russia would gain room to maneuver. And China would fill the power vacuum with Arctic investments that slowly reshape global influence. Remember, power isn't just about weapons. It's about presence. And Alaska ensures American presence at the top of the world. Let's look at infrastructure. The US has invested in the port of Anchorage as a logistics hub, but more Arctic ports are needed to compete with Russia's northern sea route. There are growing calls for deep-water ports in Nome or Kotzebue to support icebreakers and Navy vessels, giving the US more flexibility in deploying assets. Research is also a hidden front. The University of Alaska Fairbanks leads Arctic climate and surveillance studies, working closely with NASA and the Department of Defense. Their insights shape how the US prepares for rising sea levels, permafrost melt, and unpredictable weather patterns. The state is also a homeland. Over 15% of Alaska's population is indigenous, and many communities sit right on the Arctic front lines. Their traditional knowledge, resilience, and adaptation strategies are vital for understanding the land and preserving stability in a rapidly changing environment. And finally, tourism and resource extraction pose double-edged swords. While they bring income and visibility to Alaska, they also stress the fragile environment and require new security policies to protect both the ecosystem and the US's strategic posture. So, is Alaska the forgotten frontier or the future frontline? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoy breakdowns like this, where geography meets global power, hit like and subscribe. New videos drop every week, and they'll help you see the map in a whole new way. Thanks for watching.